For at least 100,000 years after modern humans first appeared, there is no archaeological evidence of language, but they were still coordinating hunts, and they were migrating across continents. Homo sapiens appeared roughly 300,000 years ago. The earliest fossil evidence of our species comes from a site in modern-day Morocco. Genomic evidence suggests the biological capacity for language was present by at least 135,000 years ago. Spoken language as we know it probably didn't fully emerge until 70,000 to 100,000 years ago. That leaves a massive gap in human history. Our ancestors communicated for millions of years without words. They organized hunting parties to take down large prey, and they taught their children how to knap flint into sharp blades. How do you build a society in silence? You use your whole body. Great apes use roughly 60 to 80 distinct hand and body gestures. Many of these gestures are identical to ones humans use every day. They point at things they want, and they beg for food with an open, outstretched palm. These are specific signals with understood meanings. When a chimpanzee wants to groom you, they will perform a loud scratch on their own body. When they want a younger ape to climb on their back, they will give them a direct push. If they want to play, they might raise a single arm in the air. Our early ancestors were almost certainly doing the exact same thing. They were communicating their intentions physically. If you go back 1.8 million years to a species called Homo ergaster, the body was already changing. They were walking upright on two legs. They were making complex hand axes out of stone, but their vocal tracts and the width of their spinal cords show they had very limited vocal capability. Spinal canal was simply too narrow to hold the dense nerve bundles needed to precisely control the diaphragm. Breathing for survival is an automatic process, but breathing for speech requires active, conscious control over the muscles surrounding your lungs. They just didn't have the breath control required for complex speech. They couldn't string together a long sequence of sounds without gasping for air. So for most of human evolution, facial expressions and manual gestures were almost certainly the primary communication system. The gestural origin of language theory proposes that language actually began as hand signals. We gestured our way across the African savanna. But over thousands of generations, this communication shifted to the mouth and throat. Why make that shift? Because vocalizing frees up your hands. You can talk while you carry a heavy load of gathered fruit. You can give instructions while you butcher a carcass or craft a stone tool. A gestural language demands your full physical attention. A spoken language runs in the background. You can talk in the dark. Cooking and campfire culture likely created the exact social pressure needed for vocal language. By 400,000 years ago, early humans were regularly controlling fire. A campfire completely changes the structure of a human day. You have hours of awake time in the dark. You're sitting in a tight circle with your community. But when you sit around a fire at night, you can't see hand gestures clearly. A complex story told in sign language is invisible just a few feet away from the flickering flames. Visual channel of communication breaks down in the shadows. The voice became the more practical channel for sharing information. The people who could make distinct, understandable sounds in the dark had a massive social advantage. They could plan the next day's hunt, and they could pass down knowledge without needing a clear line of sight. We can actually see the genetic fingerprints of this transition. The FOXP2 gene influences the fine motor control of the facial muscles needed for speech. It helps coordinate the rapid, precise movements of the lips and tongue. Our extinct cousins, the Neanderthals, had an identical primary sequence for this gene. They had the exact same basic genetic building blocks for facial control that we do, but the regulation of that gene differs between humans and Neanderthals. Instructions for how and when that gene activates are distinct in our DNA. Even with the same core code, the human version expresses itself differently in the developing brain. A tiny mutation in a binding site altered the way the entire system operates. We evolved to have highly precise control over our vocal cords. We turned a basic breathing apparatus into an acoustic instrument. Every human society on Earth has a language that shares core structural features, like subjects and verbs, and all languages are fundamentally related. Whatever happened in our deep past, it happened once. A single population figured out how to map complex thoughts onto sequences of sound. It worked so well that nothing has replaced it in at least 135,000 years. You are using a piece of prehistoric technology right now, and you never even have to look at your hands to use it.